Welcome to the 411 on 420. I'm Daryl Bowman, your business and IT professional in cannabis.
And I'm Amy Ansel, your cannabis partner strategist.
Hey, thanks for joining us today and every Tuesday from noon to 1 when we talk about the business of cannabis, helping you to make informed decisions about a growing industry.
That's right. No pun intended.
Actually, I was thinking budding industry, and then I'd go with the pun right there.
You know, it is. It is budding.
Yes, it is. And it's pretty green. So talk about the best of both worlds.
Well, yeah. Not only is it the best of both worlds, things are continuing to change. Mainstream is slowly adopting. States are all over the place considering.
We are actually starting to a wave of adoption across the United States and so forth. And that means that there is a lot of information out there that people just do not understand. So that's what we're here to do, is help you understand an industry that is very complex, new on the market, and so to speak, not new in the market when I say new in the market, but
regulated,
new
yes,
regulated industry coming out of the shadows and into the light. We're helping you to understand what it is that is going on in the industry and how to make a decision, informed choices that will help you, guide you through that path in the industry. Whether you're somebody who is a participant in the industry or whether you're somebody who is actively opposing the industry, you're going to know things that you wouldn't otherwise know by listening to us.
That's right. We're dispelling the myths, the stigmas, and all the new things coming down the pike with policies, procedures for the state of Washington, specifically in I-502.
Oh, yes. And I-502 is the law, the initiative that passed this whole thing to make 420, which is, by gosh, what they call cannabis. So we're going to go into what we talk about normally when we're talking about the economic development opportunities that really exist in a new industry. They're just, budding.
I know. All the new jobs that are going to be created and are created. And we're not just talking about, boots on the ground in a garden. We're talking about tourism, security, insurance, you name it. The cannabis industry needs it.
This is really tens of thousands of new jobs in just the state of Washington, but really across the country, we're talking about millions of new jobs all over. And in that capacity, we are actually in a situation currently where we're drawing down our troops. And as we are drawing down our troops are looking to reintegrate back into civilian society, if you will, and they need jobs. And, here's an industry that is actually supplying lots of them. So we always think about that. So whether you are in this industry or not in this industry, whether or not you are looking for someone to employ, we hope that you are thinking about our nation's veterans.
That's right. We're talking about the best of the best. We're talking about hiring heroes. And we're talking about character, a community that stands for honor, integrity. No job is too small. They know how to be a team player, and they know how to be a self-sufficient single operator.
When you hire a veteran, you can get somebody who has integrity, somebody that can work independently, someone that is accountable, and you can understand that they'll represent your company in a very fair and accurate manner, somebody that the public will trust when you are working with them, because those are the things that are most important to you, is representation of your company. So hire a vet and get the best out of everything that you can get for your company. But if you're not into hiring and you just need to use a service or a product, we have veteran-owned businesses out there as well.
Really?
We do. The Department of Veterans Affairs for the state of Washington has a list of veteran-owned businesses that you can get access to easily just by going to, I think it's va.wa.gov. Yeah.
Right. Or you just Google it.
Yeah, exactly.
Washington Veterans Affairs.
Washington veteran-owned businesses in the state of Washington. And there's a list there. It's a huge Rolodex of individual businesses that are offering all kinds of products, about 10,000 plus products and services that can cover the gamut of anything you can possibly have done to your house, your car, your boat, anything. There is a veteran-owned business out there. So they have not asked for your business, but we hope that you'll let them earn your business.
That's right. We're talking about a hand up, not a handout. And, speaking from experience, I am working with a veteran right now. Daryl, thank you much for your service.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate that. We want to, excuse me, I apologize. We want to make sure that you're thinking about those individuals when you are just going about your daily routine. Because, hey, guess what? If you weren't for a veteran, you wouldn't be here today, doing the things that you do, and having the freedoms and the liberties that you have without the service of our veterans.
That is so true. And, last week I just went to the Department of Veterans Affairs website, and it really is impressive. There is so much there. We're talking super fat Rolodexes for those that are looking for employment and, employing someone, as well as services for veterans. So if you're a family of a vet or a veteran yourself, there is so many resources for you to embrace.
Yes, and don't forget about the spouses of the veterans and their children. They need your support as well, because they're often overlooked in this process, because they move around and they support the individuals that really support our country.
Absolutely. So,
well, hey, let's get to the business of cannabis, because that's what we are here for. Today, we're going to be talking with one of our sponsors, Zooken.com. The guys are coming here, and they will be telling us about what they're doing and why they're doing it. But we're going to get more into that after we come back from these short messages. I'm Daryl Bowman, your business and IT professional in cannabis.
And I'm Amy Ansel, your cannabis partner strategist.
Thanks to our friends at Zooken.com, your local strain directory for the cannabis connoisseur. That's Zooken.com, Zooken.com. Find your strain.
AimBiz.com brings you the life of a business website. The majority of business websites can't be found by search engines, so their owners lose customers and money. An AIM business website wins new customers on Google and Facebook. Imagine your website with great content management, an integrated blog, clean designs, and clear messages. To top it off, at aimbiz.com, you get a free website design mock-up before you ever spend a dime. For more information, go to aimbiz.com. That's AIMBIZ.com.
Sweatman Young is proud to celebrate 25 years of construction service throughout South Puget Sound, working together with you to guarantee your satisfaction and offer you a unique 2-year warranty on all work. Let Sweatman Young build your new dream home, remodel your existing home, add an additional deck, outdoor kitchen, a man cave, or even preserve your historic home. Sweatman Young provides the best construction value in South Puget Sound. Visit sweatmanyoung.com today and schedule your free consultation with Bill Sweatman, your personal professional contractor.
Ever get a traffic ticket? Had a bill you couldn't collect? Had a contract you needed advice about, such as a new insurance plan, home, or car loan? We run into these situations routinely throughout our lives. We know we need legal advice, but feel we just can't afford hiring an expensive attorney to help. Legal Shield and your legal team is now your affordable option, allowing each of us to rest assured we can quickly get the help we need for one low monthly fee. Whether it's business or personal legal advice, visit yourlegalteam.info today.
Welcome back to the 411 on 420. I'm Daryl Bowman, your business and IT professional in cannabis.
And I'm Amy Ansel, your cannabis partner strategist.
Hey, thanks again for joining us today and every Saturday from noon to 1 when we talk about the business of cannabis, helping you to make informed decisions about a growing and, well, budding industry.
That's right. And Zooken's here with us to educate.
Well, hey, like I said before at the break, we're here today with Zooken.com. Sebastian and David Vanderwagen, right?
Yes.
And Sebastian, what is your last name again?
Right.
Right. Well, that's right. Oh, man.
That is correct.
In all of the different things you gave me, you never once said that. It's all been Seb. Seb's here. Okay.
That's the preferred name.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. And Sebastian and Seb met in high school, and they've known each other for a very long time. And then, Sebastian and David they met in high school. And then, David went off into the Marines and joined the Marines and then became a different person, obviously, because, well, hey, we all know about the Marines, and they're one of the best services out there. They do the greatest things out there by protecting the Navy and the first into battle quite a few times. So the people that we want to really support are our veterans, and thank you very much for your service, David. But then you guys were from Florida and saw that, I-502 happened, and the good people in Washington, they legalized cannabis, and you said, okay, we're leaving. We got off you said, we're getting out of here. We're going to Washington. We're going to start a business.
You said, we're in, right?
We're in. And then you travel all the way across country with your spouses, and you just jump into this whole thing, and you decide, we're there. So that's a really short bio. So, but tell me really seriously. Let's talk about what brought you here. What was the big impetus? Because nobody just says, "Well, we can smoke pot legally, or we can grow it. We can get into business and just leave." You must have had a plan. So, tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Well, definitely smoking pot was a lucrative side to it, but I actually came here on a vacation, and I absolutely fell in love with the place, and I came back home to Florida, and I told my fiance, we have to leave.
Florida's humid.
Florida's humid, and gators all running around all over the place. So pretty much made a decision.
That'll put a crimp in the backyard barbecue every time.
They're always in your pool.
Oh,
but so we made a decision at a Starbucks, and we decided to leave. And then I called David up and said, David, I'm heading to Seattle. I'd definitely like to, catch up and, say goodbye.
Oh, really? So, David, how'd that call go over with you?
Yeah, Sebastian and I mean, like you said, we've been best friends since high school, so we've always kept in touch, and he called me up one day and said, hey, I went to Seattle recently, and it's just this amazing place. The cannabis industry is booming. There's so much going on there, and I was like, really? That sounds interesting, and he told me he was going, and I said, I'll go with you if you got room, and then we both packed up our wives and
So you came up here in a Prius? Are you telling me that?
Unfortunately, no Prius.
And I just tell you that because before the break, actually told me he had a Prius, and I thought that was a really cramped ride. Okay. So now that you decided to go up, you must have had a plan before you decided to come up here. Did you think about what you're going to do when you're on your way up here?
Well, I mean, the plan was to be in the cannabis industry somehow. We didn't really have a definite plan when we were here. So when
you mean when you were in Florida, you didn't have a plan, but you came up here and created one.
We pretty much on the way. I did have a friend that moved here, and he was actually working at a cannabis farmers market, and he said, if you guys want to get involved, this is a good way to experience the industry, and you'll learn a lot, and you'll figure something out. So we did that. It was way more of a learning experience than a money-making experience. And that time there at the cannabis market was absolutely crucial.
So when you talk about the time there at the cannabis market, tell us about that because we haven't heard about that yet. So what does that mean?
Yeah, as you guys know, there's a lot of changes in the cannabis industry, especially here in Washington over the past 2 years. There's been a lot of changes from medical, recreational, and when we first got here, it was okay there wasn't much regulation around the medical side of the industry.
Pretty much a Wild West thing going on.
Pretty much. And we took advantage of that. We jumped right into the...
You and lots of other people.
Yes.
Just saying.
So we got a booth at this cannabis market and just dove right into the industry. We got some product. We started giving it out to patients and learned a lot from that experience. It was short-lived, but it was definitely a learning experience, talking to all the patients, what other vendors liked, what they didn't like, how the industry was moving and growing and evolving.
Now, you guys said you traveled up and down the coast for a little bit.
Yeah, when we finally decided to move forward with a website, which evolved from working in the industry, we started noticing different trends and different patterns with patients and people looking for cannabis. We decided to move forward with the site. We drove to just about every single recreational medical provider on the west side of the state and just walked in, talked to a lot of owners, talked to a lot of employees, managers, and that's how we picked up a lot that
I find that's interesting. In this industry, it's not like you set appointments. Everybody says you have to show up to get an appointment. You can't call in and say, I'll be in on Friday at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock or whatever. In order for the sales or any of the things that go on in this industry, it seems that people just show up and they wait in line and or find a time to discuss that with the owners of that. That seems to be how things work. Is that your experience?
Yeah, definitely. I've studied business in college and still studying, and it's definitely a lot different working in the cannabis industry when it comes to business. I mean, yes, it's still a business and you still follow, business plan and so forth, and you still have a business to run. But when it comes to interacting with other business owners and engaging with other people in the industry, it's a little bit different. It's hard to point out exactly how different unless you're in it. if you're in the industry, you understand how it's a little bit different than everything else.
Well, it's good to understand that people know that when you're a consumer, it's one thing, but when you're in the industry, working with other people in the industry, there's a relationship development that happens there because given that it came from under the covers, black market, so to speak, when you had to trust whoever you had to trust and so forth.
There it is. It's the trust.
You have to develop the trust up front, and it's not like you walk into and you go, well, I've got these widgets here, and they're great widgets. They're better than the widget down there. Can you put them up on your shelf? And they're going, well, does your widget do, and will people like your widget? And do I really want to have that widget in there? Does that my brand in my store? And all of that goes into consideration a lot more so than just any other retail type store. Wouldn't you understand? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, the 502 owners and even the medical dispensary owners are very, very cautious of, how their store is represented. It's definitely fascinating. And going back to what you were saying, yes, it's definitely a different type of hustle where you just show up at the place, you see if the whoever the decision maker has time, and pretty much go from there. And that's why we went up and down the state, because a lot of people don't have time for you. They're like, oh, come back in an hour, come back next week, and it's literally okay. Well, we'll come back next week and then just move on and just knock down doors. You're more successful if you are in front of more people, and that's how David and I tackled this when we wanted to get the word out on Zooken, to let store owners know that this is a service available for them.
And like you said, you're in there, and if you're in there with a whole bunch of clients, they're going to take care of the clients, and you come last. I liken it to a doctor's situation, because there's all pharmaceutical reps coming into a doctor on a regular basis, and the doctors have to put away time and say, I will meet you during these hours, and that's it. And they actually make appointments with those individuals now, whereas before, I can actually see this happening in the future, where product individuals they'll start buying lunches, and like they do with the pharmaceutical reps, they buy a lunch for everybody and say, hey, put my stuff on your shelf, put my stuff on your shelf.
I think that's a dying thing,
what?
though. Just that whole mentality of doing business.
Well, I'm not. Sir, any doctor out there right now,
we'll take a lunch.
Oh, they're not taking a lunch. The pharmaceutical rep buys a lunch for the entire staff and brings it in. That's how it works.
Oh, I know that. I'm just wondering, how long that's going to last.
No,
as long as there's money.
Yeah, just me and David experience it. Actually, that practice is very up and well.
Definitely.
You see different big time vendors definitely courting store owners, because again, too, you're talking millions of dollars that these people are potentially wanting to make with that particular relationship. So if it's going to cost them a dinner, they're going to do it.
A couple of drinks for some lunches, no big deal. Believe me, man. When you spend $100 on pizzas or whatever at a place like that's going to sell, $500,000 worth of your product in a year, you're going to be happy.
I understand that, but you guys can say money talks, but I think this industry is different because there's this medicinal community that really cares about quality. And if you have someone in a suit and tie that comes in and tries to buy your relationship, buy your time, that's what I'm saying is a dying breed, because the cannabis industry does not operate like that. Some do, but I don't see them being very fruitful. What do you guys think? Do you think the whole pharmaceutical?
You went door to door. You get it.
Are you buying lunches, or are you just making friends?
The thing is it's we're not. Our business is a little different. We're not going there and trying to buy their friendship. We are definitely.
You want to represent their product on Zooken. So let's talk a little bit about what Zooken is, because in order to understand that, you understand that you're a strain directory of all the different types of strains, because when you went up and down that coast, you probably found that there were thousands of different types.
Yeah.
And how are they represented and so forth?
Well, as you know, there are thousands of different types of strains, and they're constantly growing and evolving, and new strains are being bred every day. There's new strains coming out there, and we found that patients, and ourselves included, we tend to enjoy particular strains more so than others. I'm a big
you like certain things and so
I like
forth.
certain things and so forth, and everybody kind of has that preference, which is kind of where we developed the idea for the site. It's a strain directory. If you have an interest in a certain strain, go to the site, type it in, and we'll tell you where to get it.
And let's talk about strains. So there's a bunch of different types of strains. So how are you educating people that are just now opening their eyes to the possibilities of cannabis? When they look at your directory, how are you navigating them in regards to strains?
Well, that's with our site, it's more so for the cannabis connoisseur, those that are familiar with the industry a bit more. As you said, the industry is growing rapidly, and there are a lot of people who've been in it for a while, and they've developed this palate for what they want in as far as cannabis goes. So when you go to our site, you type in a strain, and then we'll guide you to it, but you don't have to know exactly. So if you're familiar with a particular type of strain, you could do a half like a kush,
Cotton candy or something like that.
cotton candy, or even just candy, and then we'll show you all the mixes of that strain. Or you don't type in anything at all, and then we'll just show you the prices and the prices that every dispensary has with every single strain that's available in your area.
So walk us through this real quick. So if I'm somebody and I'm interested in working with you, and I'm a vendor now, and I need to get my stuff in there, how does that work? If I want people to list your stuff, and what's the benefit?
Okay, so Zooken.com is doing a completely free service for any Washington cannabis provider, medical or recreational. All they would need to do is go to the login part of the site and create a profile, and then they're able to load their menu, and it's loaded that very second.
Okay, so and when you say load their menu, is that there's an application interface, or is that do they have to populate that by hand?
Well, there's several methods to uploading a menu, and this is something we learned while working in the industry, running that booth at the cannabis market and talking to all the business owners. It's something we learned that, with other sites, you have to upload your menu individually, one by one. So we developed different ways of doing that. You can sync it with a MMJ menu, for example. You can sync your menu with there.
So you can do that. Let's do an API.
Yep, using API. You just click the button, put in the API key.
That's an application programming interface for people that don't know that, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. And they would just put in a key that they get from their MMJ menu account, and then instantly the menu is synced. Or you can, if you have your menu in an Excel file, as simple as an Excel file, you can upload your Excel file with that, and using our template, and then instantly your menu is uploaded and it's instantly live.
Okay, and then how do they keep it? And with the application interface, that means that it keeps synchronized on a routine basis. You don't have to really update it all the time. Whenever they change their inventory, it changes on yours because it's synchronized.
Well, it's not live synchronized. You do have to go to the site and just hit update, and then it automatically goes into the site and then into MMJ menu and pulls the menu from there again and updates it. Okay. If you need to update a single item in the menu, you could click on that particular topic and change it if you need to. Prices, whatever. You don't have to upload a whole new menu because your prices change. You just click on the price and change it. And it changes instantly.
Now, we were talking about now that's how you get it up there, and now it's in there. What does it look like for the consumer that's going out there and asking what Amy did, saying, I want to find candy, and I want to find something in there?
Okay, so again, too, you'll go to Zooken.com, and you'll be greeted by a very simple website landing page. You would type whatever you're looking for in the search bar and type your zip code. You press find, and then literally it'll populate with numerous places that have the item that you're looking for.
What if I am looking for strains that would help support conditions such as post-traumatic stress? So if I type in PTS, would that populate with the strains that are identified as efficacious?
Not particularly. There are filter options on the site. So if you type in a strain and you're looking for concentrates, for example, which are higher in THC levels and so forth, and more potent forms of medication, you can filter your options by the type of concentrates or flower, or you can filter it by price, distance, and you can also filter by the amount that you're looking for. Providers that list their menus on the site, they can also type in information, and some providers do this, is they'll mention it's a high CBD strain or it's a high great for PTSD or something like that. They can put those into the notes in each strain, so they'll see that as that it's available.
Well, let's do this. Before we get any further, we're going to take a break. We'll come back after these short messages, and we'll talk more about Zooken.com and how you can find your strain. I'm Daryl Bowman, your business and IT professional in cannabis.
And I'm Amy Ansel, your cannabis partner strategist.
Thanks to our friends at Zooken.com, your local strain directory for the cannabis connoisseur. That's Zooken.com, Zooken.com. Find your strain.
And now, your Management Minute with Doug Kirkpatrick, author of Beyond Empowerment, The Age of the Self-Managed Organization.
Every business should periodically investigate the health of its organizational culture. Here are 3 vital signs to consider. Number 1, meetings. What is the frequency and duration of meetings? Do they have a purpose? Do they start and end on time? Do participants respect and listen to each other? Do individuals demand clarity regarding follow-up actions? Number 2, language. What are the prevailing pronouns used in speech and writing at the business? Do they trend toward we, us, and ours, or are pronouns mostly about me, my, and mine? And thirdly, work-life balance. What do working hours look like? Do people typically stay late? Or do they go home at a reasonable hour after a productive day at work, refreshed and ready to return the next day? What are the vital signs in your business?
AIMBiz.com brings you the life of a business website. The majority of business websites can't be found by search engines, so their owners lose customers and money. An AIM business website wins new customers on Google and Facebook. Imagine your website with great content management, an integrated blog, clean designs, and clear messages. To top it off, at AIMBiz.com, you get a free website design mock-up before you ever spend a dime. For more information, go to AIMBiz.com. That's AIMBIZ.com.
Sweatman Young is proud to celebrate 25 years of construction service throughout South Puget Sound, working together with you to guarantee your satisfaction and offer you a unique 2-year warranty on all work. Let Sweatman Young build your new dream home, remodel your existing home, add an additional deck, outdoor kitchen, a man cave, or even preserve your historic home. Sweatman Young provides the best construction value in South Puget Sound. Visit sweatmanyoung.com today and schedule your free consultation with Bill Sweatman, your personal professional contractor.
Ever get a traffic ticket? Had a bill you couldn't collect? Had a contract you needed advice about, such as a new insurance plan, home, or car loan? We run into these situations routinely throughout our lives. We know we need legal advice, but feel we just can't afford hiring an expensive attorney to help. Legal Shield and your legal team is now your affordable option, allowing each of us to rest assured we can quickly get the help we need for one low monthly fee. Whether it's business or personal legal advice, visit yourlegalteam.info today.
Welcome back to the 411 on 420. I'm Daryl Bowman, your business and IT professional in cannabis.
And I'm Amy Ansel, your cannabis partner strategist.
Today we're all tongue-tied around here because we're talking to Zooken.com. But hey, before we move on, we want to talk about our website. Go to 411on420.biz. We are listed out there with a ton of different interviews. We are now today, this month, we're in Dope Magazine, and we've got a great little article. And so great, go out there, check that out. Dope Magazine is one of our partners in this industry. Also, go out and listen to all the podcasts and so forth, and learn about what's going on in the industry. There's a lot to learn about, and we're hoping that if you have a topic that you are interested about, please send us an email at info@411on420.biz.
Absolutely. We want to hear from you.
Exactly. So anyway, we are here today with Sebastian and David of Zooken.com, and they're telling us more about how their site operates and how Zooken is different. And hey, there are people out there with directories, and what makes you different than the people out there with other directories, guys?
Well, what makes us different is that we do things a little bit differently. We're a strain-specific directory, so we tailor our site to the cannabis connoisseur, to those that are familiar with the industry, they're familiar with the plant, they're familiar with the products available to them, which are constantly growing in variety. And so those consumers are the type of people that come to our sites. We also focus our website and the usability from the client's perspective, from the profiles, from the providers. We focus our attention on making it easier for them to use our site, to upload their menu, maintain their profile. They got more important things to do than sit on a website and upload menus and keep these things up to date. They got a business to run. So we focus our attention a lot on that, on that perspective.
Okay, so you made a lot of relationships up and down, going to all these individuals, and so how are you doing so far? I mean, you're in your first year, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how we doing? What I mean, we got what are we doing?
Well, we're doing great. We just launched the site in October is when we really had a functioning site. Of course, it wasn't near perfect, and it probably never will be, especially in this industry which
Everything
is constantly
changes.
evolving. Yes, the industry. Everything in this industry is constantly changing, which may pose a challenge to some, but it's really an adventure. Being in this
Absolutely.
industry,
Yeah.
it's exciting to constantly learn new things, not because it's new to us, but because it's new to everybody.
Right.
It's new to everybody. We're all in this together. There's not really a lot of hateful competition in the industry. There's a lot of working together and growing together because
Right.
that's
man, more puns.
Yeah.
This is
Exactly.
awesome, man.
Well, I heard that collaboration kills competition.
Yes, yeah, and there's definitely a lot of collaboration. We talked about earlier how we mentioned that there's a lot of trust to build in this industry. You can't just walk to any business owner and throw some numbers
buy
in
him a
their
lunch,
face.
right?
Exactly. There's a lot of trust that goes into this, and you really need to build a lasting relationship with people that we work with people that we meet, and not just business owners, but the employees, management, everybody else that runs in the industry, from web developers to digital advertising to so much in the industry that we get
So
to
how
work
did
with.
how did you decide to get your website started? How did you do?
Are you guys
how'd you go about that?
web guys? Web dev?
We have no experience in web or any type of this industry. Basically, David and I we're innovators. We definitely think about things.
But you got a website.
You have a directory. It's online.
The thing is, I think where we come, our expertise is we definitely know how to manage the website. We definitely know what we want, and we have a great team that helped us build and develop this website.
Awesome.
That's the way to go about it, man. Build a team.
I did a Wikipedia search on strains, and what I'm finding is there's a clone only, a stable seed, an unstable seed, wild varieties. How do you wrap your arms around all those? I mean, there's all these strains, right? And then there's like compartments within compartments.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot that goes into a strain. I mean, there's also landraised strains, which are kind of like these unique strains that have evolved to grow into certain regions, and then from those they're bred. And then there's indica, there's sativa, there's ruderalis.
What's the ruderalis? I've only heard of indica and sativa, so educate there.
Ruderalis is actually from the I think an area in Russia, and they autoflower. There's no vegetation, so they're a small plant, and then they just boom pop into flowering.
I saw that on the related articles in Wiki, and it said autoflower. So I'm going to look that up.
Most plants, the way indica and sativa and most other plants work is they work on a light cycle. When you're growing, you can grow your plant as long as you need to, but then you adapt the light cycle to when it's going to flower and when it goes through its
Well, we're getting outside of the scope of
Interesting.
We are,
the
a little
website.
bit.
So let's not do that. Let's dive right back into what you guys are
Well, yeah,
offering.
but
So I
we're talking
appreciate
about
that.
strains, but that's
Well, I
good.
get that, but I mean, we're also talking about what the website does and why we're here to do that. So let's go ahead and continue down that path. What the thing that we're talking about really is the services that you're offering as well, because the Zooken isn't just about the strains. You're offering other services as well.
Yes, we are actually. We started off when we first developed the site. We thought, let's just make an awesome strain directory. And then as we learned more in the industry and met more people, we realized that there is a unique need for marketing services. In the industry, there are a lot of regulations and boundaries that people in the industry have to face because of the industry we're in, working with cannabis and marijuana. And it's something that needs a lot of unique attention. And we thought, well, why don't we get involved in that? And
It sounds like you've actually had a chance to learn all of that throughout this process.
Yes, we certainly did. Like running the booth to talking to all the owners and managers of all these businesses, we realized that there's that unique need for this. So we started developing a team together and getting a whole range of marketing services, from web development, same team that helped us, to SEO, search engine optimization, social media management, graphics design, logo design. We'll help get your business up and running and off the ground and really get it out there within the confines and regulations of the industry, within the law.
So expose yourself on the web.
Exactly.
Can you give us the listening audience one story of a successful campaign that you've run from your marketing endeavors?
Well, really the most successful one that we've encountered so far is really the hands-on, face-to-face meeting with every single provider. The drive that we took, we spent a couple weeks driving to every single location that we can find on Google and different sites. And we went to each one of them, and really just making an appearance, getting out there was a big ticket item. And then also social media. Social media was a great way and a free way to get our brand out there, to meet both consumers and providers, because there are a lot of providers that use social media to get exposed. And it was a great way to communicate and get our brand exposed.
So when you went out there and you started meeting with all these individuals and so forth, can you tell me the top 3 things that you guys learned along the way? That from each of these different, you learned a lot of things and so forth, but what are the top 3 things that you think you came away with after all these meetings?
Well, definitely the top one for me would be a lot of these people were complaining about the time and effort it takes to load menus, and they would jump on anything if there was an easier way to do something, and that was actually a big part of our initiative to make loading menus and products for them a lot easier.
Now, you talked about many things along the way. So was it just about the Zooken development? By the way, we skipped over that part. What does Zooken mean?
And how do you spell it?
Zooken, it's Zooken, Zooken.com. And the way we came up with the name kind of falls on me. I have a Dutch origin, and Zooken...
I can tell that by the wooden shoes.
Yeah, my klompen. So I have Dutch background, and we wanted to come up with something unique for a name for the site. We didn't want to come up with something cliche, and it was something unique that could kind of roll off the tongue. And we came up with this Dutch word, Zooken, Zooken, which means searching. So we kind of rolled off of that, and we figured, okay, well, we can't spell it the way it is in Dutch because people won't know how to spell that. So we changed it around a bit and made our own little words, Zooken, Zooken.
Well, everybody's making words these days.
Yeah, I mean, they're all made up
right?
technically, aren't they?
Google, Hulu, whatever.
Just ask Snoop Dogg. Wasn't he for Shizzle or something like that?
For Shizzle.
Oh, that's it. I was like, how the hell did I mean, that's a word? Okay, right. I got it. Okay. So let's talk about future plans. What are you guys thinking about? Where is this going to go?
Well, I mean, we definitely want to grow with the industry, and that's really our goal. I mean, we're happy being part of the industry and being an active part in it, and we hope to see where things go. And we definitely have plans for our future growth, expanding our marketing services, expanding our own team, and the services we can help provide to business owners. We want to help the industry grow as it's guided us to grow. We want to be there for these providers and get them to the top.
Now there are some people out there that have some you got some big competition. Let's put it that way. There are some people out there with big names and so forth. And how do you plan to go out there and be competitive in a way that gets your name out there? And well, besides being right here because that's rocking, I appreciate that. But I mean, how do you plan to get that name out there and be the leader in the industry, or at least be one of the superior choices?
Again, we definitely look up to the bigger names out there, but also at the same time, we are making waves on how we're doing things right now. And I think what we're doing right now is keeping a steady and growthful path. And yes, we're definitely aware of the other guys out there, but also at the same time, we're not necessarily concerned.
Yeah. So you study their strengths and weaknesses and play to those things, I take it?
Yeah, we definitely looked at what they were doing and compared ourselves to them, and then also looked at what they weren't doing. What wasn't out there, what wasn't available. Price matching, for example, being able to compare prices all in one place wasn't out there, and that's something that we definitely did offer.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's the whole industry.
I looked at your site; it said delivery. Whoa, that's cool.
Delivery. Why don't we talk about that? Delivery.
No, go ahead. You're price matching.
Yeah, so we're doing the price matching. We show you what's available out there, what it's going to cost you, also what brands are out there. You know, as the industry is growing, it's not just about strains. It's not just about this is this flower. Now people are starting to recognize brands, farmers who produced this flower, who produced this this concentrate that I'm enjoying, and it comes down to that. You know, there are a lot of brands out there that are starting to gain a lot of tread, and we want to recognize those. So those are also instantly available along with the prices on the site. And
now, are you thinking about? And now we talk about flowers and we talk about strains and stuff like that. But again, as we grow in the industry, there's going to be new products and so forth that are created from those strains and their extracts and so forth. So are you going to be looking at the extracts and the products and so forth? So maybe a complete line of searchability, or is that where you're headed in, potentially?
Yeah, that is definitely where we're headed. Anything strain related, from flowers to concentrates, to an array of types of concentrates and different means of which they're sold and different weights, which was a big changing factor that we had to adapt to in the industry. But yeah, we're definitely going to add in, as long as there's a strain name to it, we want to be able to provide people a means to find that.
Now, a lot of these services, they actually provide some ratings and things like that. Have you guys considered things like that?
Definitely considered, but as of this time, no, we're not putting any type of rating system on right now.
Is there going to be a comment system or something like that? Because I'm just asking because, you can go out and you can find a strain, but then again, from the suppliers, I've noticed that, there are people, and just in the recent past, you go to a location and not all bud tenders are equal, as we know, that and so forth. So not all, it might be a strain, but there might be some rot in there, or there might be some mold or something. But and the novice doesn't know that, and so I'm looking to see, rating the delivery and rating the place and things like that. I wonder that would be very helpful from a consumer standpoint, is to understand that the products are top shelf all the time and stand behind it. In addition to, you can find your strain, but you can always rely on that strain being a good strain, being a good quality when it's there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does make sense. David and I have definitely discussed that, and it's definitely on the radar for once we start revamping programming again. But again, right now, our goal was to keep it very simple and get it up there as soon as possible. We are definitely talking to our developers to go ahead and start developing a rating system and developing some type of comment section.
Did you learn about coding a lot when you did this? Because from two guys that didn't become coders, and all of a sudden you're dealing with coders and developers, and this is a whole new endeavor for you.
Well, we're definitely a little bit more educated now on it. Definitely the lingo and how to pretty much get what we want.
Now, now are they in-house, or are you outsourcing?
Everything is, well, I mean, we're all one big team. We definitely don't. We're definitely not in the same area. A lot of it's through the web, communicating, phones, Skype. Thankfully there's all kinds of ways to get in touch with people and communicate with people. So that is definitely something that we're doing, and we definitely learned a lot communicating with others as well.
Well, that's the cool thing about today's world, especially when you're dealing with the web. You don't have to deal with anybody right across the hall from you. I mean, you can be right across the hall, can be right across the planet.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So we have a great email service, and most of our communication is done through email. We have a contact number, but primarily everybody contacts us through email. We're all busy business owners, busy clients everywhere, and email is really the communication.
I just pulled up your site on my mobile device, my iPhone, and I love the fact that it's mobile friendly. So my hats off to you in that regard. Thank you. And so for the novice user who's never searched for a strain before, how would you instruct them to go about navigating your site?
Well, when you go to this site, primarily you're going to be asked to enter in a strain name. Now, this is...
And if you don't know.
Right. If you don't know a strain, it's okay. You can not enter a strain. You don't have to put anything in the box, really.
You just
click
put find?
You could put your zip code and just hit find. If you don't put a zip code, you could hit find. It'll just give you every single client, which might be a very long list. But you can go to the site if you're familiar with a type of strain, for example, a Kush. There are an array of Kushes out there. But if you know you like Kush, you just don't know what's out there for you, you can type that in and it'll give you an array of Kush varieties. Or cookies.
Okay. How do you by the way, how do you sort these things? So I just did that on your website, and it comes up. Is there a specific default sort that comes in?
Yeah, defaults to price. Defaults down to price to exactly what you're looking for verbatim, and then it goes to the price and distance from your the zip code location.
Yeah,
but these are all available in the filter options. You get to filter it by distance. You get to filter it by price, what you're looking for, if it's grams, eighths, quarters, ounces, concentrates, flours. You get to sort through all these filters to really narrow down and find exactly what you're looking for and where to get it. And we'll show you exactly how to do that on the site.
Well, I clicked on delivery and no one's able to deliver. So that must be something for the LCB to figure out.
Oh, I think that was in the medical area for a while. There were some people that were operating in the delivery service capacity, and I've talked to several of the dispensaries that said they wanted to set up a delivery service, and they did that for a while. But in the state of Washington, that is actually with less than a couple of months left in the dispensary model.
Yeah, that's gonna
people are fading right out. They're fading right out, and if they're not going into the 502, then they're fading out, and I can see a lot of those discounts happening.
Yeah.
Discount everything. Discount
well, hey,
everything.
that's a buyer's market.
Yeah. Well, let's take a break, come back after these short messages, and we'll talk more about Zooken.com and how you can find your strain. I'm Daryl Bowman, your business and IT professional in cannabis.
And I'm Amy Ansel, your cannabis partner strategist.
Thanks to our friends at Zooken.com, your local strain directory for the cannabis connoisseur. That's Zooken.com. Zooken.com. Find your strain.
AimBiz.com brings you the life of a business website. The majority of business websites can't be found by search engines, so their owners lose customers and money. An AIM business website wins new customers on Google and Facebook. Imagine your website with great content management, an integrated blog, clean designs, and clear messages. To top it off, at aimbiz.com, you get a free website design mock-up before you ever spend a dime. For more information, go to aimbiz.com. That's AIMBIZ.com.
Sweatman Young is proud to celebrate 25 years of construction service throughout South Puget Sound, working together with you to guarantee your satisfaction and offer you a unique 2-year warranty on all work. Let Sweatman Young build your new dream home, remodel your existing home, add an additional deck, outdoor kitchen, a man cave, or even preserve your historic home. Sweatman Young provides the best construction value in South Puget Sound. Visit sweatmanyoung.com today and schedule your free consultation with Bill Sweatman, your personal professional contractor.
Ever get a traffic ticket? Had a bill you couldn't collect? Had a contract you needed advice about, such as a new insurance plan, home, or car loan? We run into these situations routinely throughout our lives. We know we need legal advice, but feel we just can't afford hiring an expensive attorney to help. Legal Shield and your legal team is now your affordable option, allowing each of us to rest assured we can quickly get the help we need for one low monthly fee. Whether it's business or personal legal advice, visit yourlegalteam.info today.
Welcome back to the 411 on 420. I'm Daryl Bowman, your business IT professional in cannabis.
And I'm Amy Ansel, your cannabis partner strategist.
Hey, thanks for joining us today and every Saturday from noon to 1 when we talk about the business of cannabis, helping you to make informed decisions about a budding industry.
And that's no joke.
That is no joke. Hey, we are here with Sebastian Wright and David Vanderwagen. Vanderwagen, man, I mean, so he's the Dutch dude wearing the wooden shoes, who's talking about who created Zooken. And
yeah, so what's Zooken doing on 420 this year? It's coming up.
Oh, yeah, that's in a few days, by the way.
We're going to have a day off.
Oh my God!
Imagine that.
I mean,
Cannabis takes a break.
Oh no, we're talking about a whole industry that celebrates that a day on 420. I mean, what day does that fall on this year?
I think it's like Wednesday.
Oh, I don't know. It's actually I don't have a clue what it is this year.
Well, let's look at our calendar and help everyone understand when 420.
It's in a midweek.
Oh, it's Wednesday, week from tomorrow.
It's in a week. Yeah.
Wow,
So,
that was a good guess.
So, well, take a day off in the middle of the week. Go for it, boys. Go for it. See if I care. Yeah. I know your wives won't. Yeah.
No, definitely not. But really, I mean, no plans really for 420 for us. Just keep working on our website, meeting more clients, and trying to get this thing booming.
Okay, now as we, as you sign people up and so forth, and things are going along, you got great future plans and so forth. What's the cost? Or is there any? Since there's no cost, I mean, how do you make your money?
Well, that's a good question.
I'm just checking.
Yeah. Our service is definitely free to list your business up on Zooken.com. It definitely is free here in the state of Washington, and we're definitely planning on launching it and only having it available here in Washington right now. We have future plans to grow into other states and so forth.
Now, I know that you're down in Portland. You're hanging out down there, trying to get to know those folks, so you can start
I am
introductions into Portlandia.
Yeah, I am already actually down in Portland, so we're already setting up a base down there and making plans to expand out there. Right now, our focus is on Washington, the beautiful evergreen state. When Sebastian and I moved up here, we absolutely love this state, not just because it's a great state, which has everything to offer and the opportunity in this state, but the people and the culture. It's definitely a very supporting culture here. The people and everybody, it's a great way to grow in any business, the cannabis industry especially, but any industry for that matter. It's just a great place for opportunity.
Back in I think it was the 90s, early 90s, Money Magazine did a survey of franchises around the U.S. It was really a comprehensive franchise about what it takes to grow a business and be a successful franchise. And they found, there's an 80-20 rule. We all know about the 80-20. 80% of businesses fail, 20% succeed. And so there's a huge failure rate. And it happens in franchises as well as anywhere else. However, they did find out that in the Pacific Northwest, it was more closer to 80% success rates of the franchises that were created. And one of the reasons were because of relationships. In the business relationships. And so when you're talking about the relationships that are happening in the cannabis industry, that is actually unique to this Pacific Northwest. It's not unique around the country, because everywhere around the country is pretty much, hey, get in, get out. I mean, I just need, what price can you give me? What deal can you give me? What deal can you give me? Here, it's more like, can I count on you in good times and in bad times? Because if I can, then I'll be with you. And I've got clients like that literally they've been with me through the good times and the bad times and so forth, and they'll never go. And I would never not support them as well. And it seems to me that this is about what you're describing is just a continuation of what Money Magazine found back in the 90s.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, loyalty is definitely a big factor here when it comes to working with everybody you're working with, and it makes sense. I mean, you're relying on others and you're trusting your business, which is your bread and butter. That's what you need to survive, and you're trusting others in that business. So it's definitely something where you need to have that trust and that loyalty.
Yeah, and what you guys are doing is a huge contribution to the industry, because strains are very important, and not everyone knows about them. So that connoisseur that you're talking about, you're really in this educational space that is sorely needed. So what do you think about what you're developing, or can you tell us what the direction you're going in regards to evolving Zooken?
Well, that's such a hard question to answer, because again, too, David and I are very scatterbrained when it comes about making the site better or trying to evolve our business. Like we said earlier, the business is ever evolving, and if we go this direction, something else might happen. So again, too,
you have to be nimble, right?
We have to be nimble, and the most important thing that I can stress is education for business owners, for me and David. A lot of the education that we have gotten is from these great marijuana business groups, just they have information out there for you to progress and for you to share. And David and I wouldn't be as successful if we didn't have a great support group telling us this is what you should do, this is how the market's evolving. Again, too.
What supports groups are you a part of?
Well, we're not necessarily a part of them.
Or business associations?
We have definitely attended the Marijuana Business Association meetings in Seattle, and again, too, the amount of people that we've met there. I think I've seen you there, Amy, and again.
You go to the meetups. I see there's a lot of tech meetups and so forth with the cannabis industry.
Tech meetups we hit up a lot, and again too, it's merely just trying to meet other people and meet like-minded people and see what they have.
And I would encourage you as business professionals and people who are developing a site, because the site is actually a site that is can have a counterpart outside of the cannabis industry.
Absolutely.
And there are definitely tons of different opportunities to meet in people in the mainstream business area for development educational opportunities, because not all of the people in the cannabis industry can help you there, but there are some very, very advanced areas where you could be talking about interconnectivity, integration, APIs, coding, all the different things that you're going to be dealing with in a very short period of time as you learn, and as a person that's going to be navigating some very complicated arenas. Rely on all of that, because now it is a mainstream industry. And so I'd encourage you to try to cross-feed yourselves, so to speak, and instead of just going into one pipeline.
Yeah, that's definitely something we've learned as we evolved with the industry, is that it's not just about pot out there and being sold in these dispensaries and recreational places. It's not just about that. There's a whole, it's an industry. And as with any industry, there's marketing, there's shipping, there's security, there's so much involved into running a business and the scope around that business to be a successful business that we can learn from. And because it is a new industry, there's not a lot of models to go off of and to lean on and to be like, okay, this is cannabis, also cannabis specific this, cannabis specific that. So a lot of our business models and things that we learned from people in other industries, in the food industry and any other transportation industry or
now,
whatever.
You started with the business plan, right?
Yeah, we definitely had a business plan.
I know you had the business plan. Where'd you get the impetus for that?
I have a master's degree in business management, so I kind of got that going.
I mean, but still, you got to have a template somewhere, and you got to get some help somewhere, because nobody, even I've been to business school as well, and it's like, here we got this stuff, and it's pretty short. They don't give you a whole lot. I mean, I've got friends who got MBAs, and they said I learned more in the first year of running my business than I ever did in my MBA.
Oh yeah, no, it is definitely a learning process, and it's something that we learn from all kinds of people in the industry, right down to the people who tend the bud, to the salespeople, the managers. There's just a whole range of people that we talk to, and everything is a learning experience. Everything is something where we can provide feedback and exchange information, and that's really why I think this industry is being so successful, is because people are open about it, and we're sharing that information with each other.
And your whole site's about sharing. So
yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Your site is about sharing. So what are the biggest challenges you're facing so far in building Zooken?
I'd say one of the biggest challenges we've had so far would be keeping up with the times. It's an industry that's growing, so we're constantly learning about new things. And we touched on concentrates, for example. 10 years ago it was about flour, and now it's these concentrates and BHO, and you got a whole array of concentrates out there that are now products on shelves. And
what's BHO?
BHO, butane hash oil. It's a method of extracting the oils from the cannabis, which is just one of the many types of concentrates that are out there. And, even the weights, down to the weights that are being sold. It used to be grams, eighths, quarters, half ounces, and ounces. And now there's 2 grams, 4 grams.
That's when you
there's
bought it out of the
1.1 grams. There's there's a whole, yeah.
I heard this vocabulary term called shatter.
Shatter is another. There's shatter. There's pull and snap. There's
are you guys going to be
rosin.
Are you going to be listing these kinds of things?
Well, these are
because they don't seem like a strain. I'm just asking.
Right. They're not strains. But as far as the type of strain, it would be. So if it's a concentrate, from there, you'd see the information, but we also list what type and what form it is in. If it is BHO, keef, hash, if it's rosin, if it's if it's some kind of extract, or if it's a cartridge, refill cartridge, whatever, there's space to put all that information in individually. So you know exactly what you're getting, in what shape and form it's going to be in.
So is your entire
weight.
site searchable then for any of those terms?
No, the whole site isn't searchable for that. You search for the strain. You can narrow it down between flour and concentrates. And, as we said, it is constantly evolving, and these things are becoming more and more to light. So filter options are definitely something that'll be incorporated into the future with future plans. As we see where things are going and what's going to be more permanent, fixed in place, like, okay, this is definitely going to be a type of concentrate. That's a separate category. Let's get that filter option in there. And that's something that we're very in tuned about is making the site more user-friendly and really being able to get people who go to the site to exactly what they want.
And it continues to evolve. So when we met and connected with Stony Girl, she's down in Portland. I don't know if you guys know her, but it was a fabulous conversation. And one thing that she brought up is that in what operation she has is there's multiple strains that she cultivates because they're not sure exactly what strain will target the PTS or the whatever ailment or disease. So when you're looking at that conglomeration or meritage of strains, how do you fetter that out through Zooken?
That would actually seem to me like it'd have to come from the whoever the grower was or the concentrate developer, and they would have to actually make sure that all of that is included in their description. But you wouldn't want. I mean, that would be like 6 or 7.
Yeah, how is that possible?
Strains all put together. I don't even know if it.
Well, a lot of producers do that, or processors. I mean, not a lot, but I've known some.
Well, again, too, going through these guys' menus, you do see a lot of descriptions on there. So if there is a particular product that is just sprawled out with multiple different strains, a lot of the store owners will just go ahead and put on their menu as a sativa mix or an indica mix, and again, to not really specifying on actually what is strain specific there. All you really know is it's mostly indica.
I see.
Yeah, and a lot of it, to bounce off of that too, a lot of that with the industry as well as what we've started learning is there are these people, bud tenders, which are people who are very familiar with the product that they sell in each store.
They're the face of the industry.
And they are, and they're the ones who really know the product. I mean, every strain is might be different. Depends on how it's processed, who grows it, who harvested it, who did this, who did that. There's so much that goes into it. So if you really want to know every single detail about the flower, you'd have to contact your bud tender, because really they're the only ones who will know, unless they list it, type it in. There's a lot of information to learn about this plant.
Well, the interesting thing is that you're roping people down to a specific location with the price break and all that kind of stuff that you're looking for. Now that you found the location and all of that, that's when you can actually call up or go to that location and determine, well, I don't have to drive all over town to figure it out. Now I've got there, and then you can break down all those questions that you need.
Exactly. We're here to narrow down the search and narrow down the hurdles that somebody has to go through to find exactly what they're looking for. Narrow it down to 1 or 2 places, and then from there you can decide on that.
Well, and so you're a cloud-based operation, and if you worked with another API and so now that you're familiar with these things and so forth, and get an SSL connection between the different.
That's a secure socket layer, people.
Right.
Just so you know.
But you get an SSL connection between a different site, like just say MMJ Sales or one of these different people that keep an inventory. Then you could actually have real time
communication,
directory updates.
Yeah, we are definitely in talks with the certain visibility systems out there, and we're very, very interested and ready to pull the trigger on the visibilities and connecting our API to theirs to load their menus in real time. That's definitely a big goal that we're actively seeking. I mean, even right now, we're on the phones trying to hound people to get this type of connection in.
Yeah, it's about trust and again security again. I mean, it's all about the security situation. And since you are up there and right now you're keeping people's information. What are you doing for security, keeping all that safe? I mean, we do have NSA out there, right? And we do have the FBI hacking our iPhones, I hear.
And we are in a state that's legal.
Yeah, it is. There's definitely a lot of security that goes involved into the web development and such, from where we host it and the developers that we have that are the team that we have. Really, it's not just one person; it's a whole team. They make sure that the site works and properly and stuff like that. But all the information you put in is secure. We also don't ask that much information that isn't really public. Business information, address, phone number, these things are very public information. The only other personal information we get is your email address. But to secure the site, we do have programmers and stuff that are constantly working on keeping the site up to date and protected from any kind of...
You've got some kind of disclaimer that says, hey, we're not going to guarantee this price, right?
Well, there's no guarantee with anything in life, in any business.
I think I heard Tommy Boy talk about guarantees. It's in a bag.
That's great.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, seriously, I mean, the reason I say that is because people will be going, oh, well, I can get that, and they get there, and it's something totally different. So, people want to make sure that they're, and the other part about that is, there are some hacks, if you will, that can dump in data, and I know that Amazon has sold $5,000 items for $500 because somebody hacked their database. And
whoa,
I
didn't hear about that.
Long ago.
Oh wow.
It wasn't long ago, and there were some things like that happen. It's
well, you know what though,
it's
things
SQL,
are.
They're called SQL injections, if you will.
Okay.
And what that means is they go in and they inject into your database new information, and then they go in and take advantage of it. Now, when people start paying, that's when a concern is. That's why I asked a question about online stuff for security. It's very important to understand that because people want to know that there's information safe, whether, as it grows, it's all about security, safety, and, my comfort level working with somebody. So, just make sure that, that's a thought process for a lot of people, given what's in the papers today with the Panama Papers, and not that anybody here is going to be that way, right?
Well, yeah. Can I interject on what you're talking about security? But you also mentioned real time. So what I'm present to is that things are flying off the shelves in these stores. So you might have something on Zooken that says available, and it's just not there when you get there 2 hours later.
Yeah, well, I mean, with any directory, and especially in this industry, like you said, products, they fly off the shelves within the hour sometimes,
Literally.
depending on the strains. They're there. And that's definitely something that, a lot of business owners, they recognize that. They notice that, these things are flying off the shelves, and keeping a menu up to date, even in the store. They have those binders and stuff.
Right.
Like, even keeping those menus up to date is, binders. You're running that printer all day. And it goes the same on the site, which is why we make it extremely easy to update that. But as a recommendation, with probably something that any consumer should do with any directory is always call the store. We provide that contact information. It's listed right there,
awesome.
Right on the profile of the provider, and we always advise to contact them. Make sure that they have it.
I didn't check that. Did it give you a direction to the
gives
place?
You
it gives you a little Google map. There's a company
excellent.
logo. There's your website to the company, social media links. There's the contact phone number for the site. Everything you need to know to get in touch with the provider and find out, always confirm, hey, do you have this? I see it here. Want it? And then, oftentimes they'll even hold it for you depending on the type of store it is.
Oh, Doug, do you have any tips that you want to share with people that are new into the business? I mean, you guys just jumped into it. Said, Florida, we're leaving this place and we're going to get away from the alligators and jump into a place where we have bears and salmon, and
volcanoes.
And that too, and occasional tsunami, whatever.
Well, I mean, this advice goes to anybody who wants to go into the industry or open up a convenience store or whatever. Just make the first step to do it. Just commit yourself. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and make the first step, and then cross the bridge when you get there.
Isn't that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step kind of a thing?
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's definitely about persistence. If you have a dream, if you have something you want to do, just go do it. You can fill yourself up with excuses and fears and obstacles that you're coming away. every entrepreneur, every business ever launched in existence has gone through obstacles and barriers and borders and walls that you have to cross. The thing is, you just can't be afraid of those things happening. They're going to happen. When you get to that point, when you get to that bridge, you just cross it. You figure out a way across
over,
it.
under, around, or through, whatever.
Whatever you got to do, you know?
And through the woods. Yep.
Hey, well, that's been really cool. So, are you guys hiring?
We're always looking for looking to grow the company and grow with the industries. We're always looking for new candidates to help us do that and
so they
support
can look
the
at
industry.
it. So they can go to Zooken.com and they can fill your inbox full of resumes, right?
Pretty much. All our contact information is on the site. Everything you need to know about us and how to get a hold of us, whether it's listing a business, marketing services, for hire, whatever it is, just to say hi. Go ahead and shoot us an email or call us.
Well, that's really cool. We do appreciate you taking the time out of your days to do this because you guys are entering in there's room for growth. I mean, hey, look at there may be some other directories out there, but you know how many coffee shops are out there?
Well, yeah, and how many search engines are out there?
Yeah, search engines are out there as well, but it really is about focusing in. I like the idea of the connoisseur. That's very cool for the individuals that understand, and it sounds to me like you're going to just evolve on a regular basis until it. Well, I don't think there's ever an ending spot.
What I'm present to is that you got in the industry and didn't decide what you're going to do until you really felt the industry's heartbeat. And so what I see with Zooken is a very authentic platform.
Yeah, that was definitely something that we learned as we came here. When we moved from Florida, we definitely didn't know everything. We didn't know about the industry, and we were going to act like we knew everything about cannabis. Sure, we enjoyed it. Yes, there's the basics, and we can read up what we can online. But we definitely didn't act like we knew everything there was to know, and we still don't, because it's something that we're constantly learning
always
about.
learning,
always learning. It's the whole industry is growing, and
so is the LCB.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all learning.
Yay.
As they make policies, they need people that are in the trenches that will help guide their policy making.
Yeah, and Washington was a great time and a great place, and it was also a great time to pick up everything that we've learned and to grow with that and diving into it, from handling the product ourselves to noticing the industry trends and the consumer trends, patients, what they wanted, talking to other vendors, and really just being in the middle, in the gut of it all, helped us get a better scope and picture of everything that's involved.
Have you found
in the
any
industry.
differences between Oregon and Washington now that you're down there? And because it seems to, when I've been down to Oregon, the shops are a lot more. They're nicer.
Are they?
They are.
Oh,
I mean,
I didn't know
I'm
that.
just saying. I've been into the shops in Oregon and went, wow, these are really professionally well done, and it just blows me away, from a dispensary to and so forth.
Yeah, in Oregon, I've been to a couple dispensary recreational combo hybrids things going on. They still have an interesting regulation going on, and even here in Washington, we learned that. But I know in Oregon, you can't get concentrates if you're for recreational. I think it's still only medical that can get concentrates. So, and there's still a lot of laws, but they have two parts of the store, and it's interesting. It's definitely a different experience.
But when I went in and I saw the layouts and so forth, I was just very impressed with the layout and the displays and just the way that they had their businesses portrayed inside. It wasn't as if some table just showed up and you threw it up in a building real quick
with lawn chairs.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. We're way beyond that.
We are way beyond that. There's some gorgeous shops in Seattle.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But they're really, really, really given what I saw there. I mean, it blew me away, kind of stuff. Way up and above what I've seen.
You'll have to come up to Seattle, Daryl. I'll give you a tour.
I'm talking about that. I've been to Seattle and I've been down there. I'm telling you, down there, it's across the board. Literally in Portland area, it's across the board. Those folks they're done a really good job of being inviting across the board. It isn't like you go to neighborhoods or whatever. It's literally. No matter what shop I ever walked into, it was a very, very inviting, very well done, very professional, and it just looked.
And you haven't experienced that in Seattle?
Not every one of them. No, there's a big diversity across all of them. In Tacoma, Seattle, all of them. There's a diversity of the way that things are portrayed.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
I think a lot of that probably goes into Oregon is kind of a little bit newer to this all with their newest policies and stuff with the stores and such than Washington is. So Washington is kind of transitioning and they're evolving in the stores versus they were like, okay, they did that, they did this, we're going to do this, and then they just popped up.
Now,
with
what
these.
did you find out about for your relationships with strain opportunities and so forth? Did you? Was it any different in Oregon? The things that you learned that have to go into Zooken?
Well, I mean, strains. There was definitely a lot of similarities. A lot of very common strains that we come across. You know, there's those novelty strains that Snoop Stream or whatever that are just everybody kind of has them. But there's definitely some unique strains to Oregon that that I've noticed. I can't name any off the top of my head, but I do notice that there are certain things that are a little bit different in Oregon, and as well as California. I've been to Colorado and on those states, and it's definitely a lot different in each state, which will definitely be a unique obstacle when we start making our site available to those states as well, because we need to consider those options and ways of searching for strains and stuff like that when we become available in those states, which will be looking forward to it.
And there's like 23 states that are medicinal now, so I mean, you got your work cut out for you.
Yeah, yes, we do. And as those states, medical or recreational, our site is very flexible. Even if you're currently medical, and you're thinking about transitioning to recreational, that's just a click of a button, and boom, you're a recreational on our site. It really, you can modify your profile as it evolves, because we know that the industry is changing. Laws change, regulations change, the status of your business could change. All that changes, and those changes can be easily made on our site.
Oh, very cool. Well, hey, any last things you want to talk about or add to this? Because I think we've really covered a heck of a lot of information. You guys have got a great site. It's growing by leaps and bounds all the time. I've seen it originally just a few weeks ago. It was one thing, and now it's a little different. So every time I see it, it's just a little bit different. So that's really cool.
That's fresh.
Yeah.
It keeps it that way. Well, it's zooken.com. So find your strain there, and guess we'll see you next week on the 411 on 420. I'm Daryl Bowman, your business and IT professional in cannabis.
And I'm Amy Ansel, your cannabis partner strategist.